Welcome back to racing.com. Big weekend of racing. One of the great races, the best 2,400 metre race in the Southern Hemisphere is the Caulfield Cup. There's been many great horses that have won over the years, many wonderful stories. No more so than Tony Pistikakis, who came from Greece back in 1950. He came here with nothing but hopes and dreams, and he's made those dreams a reality, particularly when it comes to the thoroughbred industry. Tony joins us along with his grandson, who also happens to be named Tony. Tony and Tony, welcome along, guys.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
2005, it seems such a long time ago, but for you guys, I'm sure it was. It's something that's indented in your mind forever, because a terrific racehorse, particularly in the early part of his career, Railings.
No doubt, no doubt. One of the better horses that I've owned. I've been lucky enough to own some nice horses, but obviously he was the best performed horse.
Tony, when you came from Greece, did you have any background in racing at all? Did you have any interest in thoroughbred racing? And also explain how your relationship, a long relationship, not only with the owners, but particularly with the great John Hawkes, eventuated.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. I actually came here in 1959 as a 10-year-old, and I played a bit of sport when I was young, soccer, football. Never had any interest in horse racing. I watched my older brothers. I'm the youngest of six. I watched my older brothers gambled quite a lot, and I was quite horrified. I was fairly successful from a young age, and and growing up, I had no interest in horses at all. And the interesting thing is that amongst different business that I ventured into early on, one of them was in the clothing industry, and I was making up clothing, ladies' dresses and men's clothing. And I did a lot of work in Flinders Lane for, the company was called Julie Gay Fashions, I can't remember the guy. And he finished up owing me some money, and he couldn't pay me, and finished up, he gave me some shares in a couple of horses. And that's how I got involved, owning some horses. And whilst I was horrified with my brother's gambling, I think I finished up being the worst of all of them.
Yes, it eventuates that you had so many horses over so many years. Hey,
Yeah.
Young Tony, do you remember much about Railings' victory? You would have been only a little boy then.
Yeah, I was only just a newborn when it was racing.
Yeah, so you weren't punting at that age, thank God, eh?
The interesting thing is that the day that we won the Caulfield Cup, I'm very close with Brian Martin and obviously with John Hawkes, being one of my closest friends.
Yes.
And the day we won it, we actually left the racecourse and we went straight to the Children's Hospital, because I had a nephew at the age of 17. He had cancer, which he passed away. So, I think I made mention that in my speech when we won the Cup.
Before we look at the Cup, Tony, I remember Railings very well. I remember the day when he won at Kembla. He was 1,400 metres Hawkesbury. He went to Kembla Grange and won on Golden Slipper Day. The year Stratum won the Slipper. And then after that, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that Hawksy, after that win, said, listen, I think you've got either a Derby horse or a Caulfield Cup horse here.
Yes, he did. I mean, it's interesting because I bought two Zabils in New Zealand. I bought one. Actually, I bought them with Roger James, because Roger was going to come to race in Australia, and then he decided not to. And we bought two. One was called the Bomb, and the other one we named Railings. And when Roger decided not to come to Australia, I asked him to pick the one that he wanted to keep in New Zealand, because I was involved with Gerard Peterson and Owen Glenn with a lot of my horses. And as you know, Gerard won the Melbourne Cup with Brew and Second Coming at the Derby and all of that. And so he broke the horses in, educated them, and then he picked the Bomb. And funny enough, a couple of months later, the Bomb just dropped dead. So he never raced. Yeah. So, and the horse never raced in New Zealand. He was just broken in, and came over to John, and John liked him. He knew the horse because he was at the sale when we bought him. And John liked the horse. And I think after we won his first one or two races, John was a big rap. And just, if my memory is right, I think was it Railings that we ran a place in the Derby?
Yeah, he ran third to Eremine and Excellent. Remember, Excellent was the boom horse, came across that year, Tony, and he started the short price favourite and was a failure in that race. And you ran third, I think, at about $1 trillion to 1. I think you were that day.
Well, it
big
was
price.
because, I obviously didn't want to bet. And I had a very large bet each way. It was like 120 to 1 or something.
Yeah.
And I think from there on, I mean, John knew that he had a good horse. And I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but, John was right. I mean, he liked the horse. And I think leading into the Caulfield Cup, I think we won 3 or 4 straight. I think he won the Colin Stevens off memory.
Yep.
And then we won the Metropolitan quite easily. And if you recall, there was a $250,000 bonus for any horse that won the Metropolitan and the Caulfield Cup. So, I mean, sadly enough, Darren Beatman rode him in an easy win in the Metropolitan, but he was booked to ride a stablemate.
Dazelle,
so he had to ride
mare.
that. And Greg Charles was my neighbour out at Greenvale, and he never ridden the horse. And I remember to this day, he came over on the Friday night and watched the video 3 or 4 times, and the rest is history.
Let's go and have a look at the Caulfield Cup. Tony Jr., I'm sure you've seen the replay of this probably 5,000 times. Can we go one more time?
Sure.
In the early stages, guys, he was a bit keen. Greg Charles had a grab hold and it looked a little bit troublesome for the first 800 metres of the race.
He did.
And we'll let the barriers open now. You can take us through the event. Did you bet up on this occasion, Tony? Did you launch into the punt?
I mean, I did. I mean, Michael Iskander rang me the night before, and I can't recall it exactly. I think it was 6-7 to 1. And I said to him, if you give me 8 to 1, I'll have a reasonable bet. And, mind you, he was racing for huge stake money. So
Here he is starting to pull. Yeah, he pulled very hard. Were there any instructions that Hawksy gave to Charles? Because it's never easy when you ride a horse for the first time in a Caulfield Cup, is it?
Yeah, no, I think John did give Greg the instructions, and obviously just let the horse settle, let him find his feet, and then, make your turn at the 800. And I think Greg followed those instructions, and, and we won the race.
If we could just stop it here, guys, because Railings at this stage, and I've got the analyzer here, Tony, wouldn't know how to use it in a million years, but Railings is back in the black colours. You'll see him, and there's another horse with similar colours back to his inside. It's about this stage of the race where Railings starts to slowly drop his head and start to relax like he should have.
Correct.
What are you thinking at this time of the race, Tony? Take us through your individual thoughts.
It's funny because I didn't watch it on the TV. I was out in the mountain yard with my son and my family and my son-in-law. I mean, he was a part owner as well. And it was pretty hard to sort of watch the race proper from the mountain yard, other than just I had the radio stuck in my ear and I was listening to it as close as I could. So, I was pretty nervous, obviously, until when they were coming around the home turn when he started racing out wide. But as you know, it was a pretty close race, and probably until the last 50 or 100 metres, that's when you could see him just running all over them.
Is it fair to say he went into that race at the very peak of his career at that stage?
Absolutely, no doubt.
Because you can see him in the black colours back behind. Where did you get your colours from, Tony? All your horses race in these black colours. Where did that eventuate from? You're not a Kiwi.
My original colours is my red, white and blue with 2 running. Right, so they were red, white and blue colours. But being a fanatic Collingwood supporter, I just wanted black and white colours.
Yeah.
And I'm an importer wholesaler, and I was at the Hong Kong races one year at Sharteen, and I saw those were very similar colours and copied them.
Didn't he travel into the race? Leader is Mummify. This is the race where Mummify, unfortunately, very sad for all the owners. And then here's Eye Popper on the outside, the Japanese horse. You're not at this stage. You must be thinking, I don't think we're going to get there, are we?
No, that's all. Until they hit the post, I didn't think we'd win the race.
Really? And it was a beautiful ride by Greg Charles because even at the 800, if you were looking at all the horses back in the field, they were all under the whip. They were all hard-ridden, and here's Charles, he's smoking the pipe. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he won easily, and, quite interesting enough, we all have dreams to win the Melbourne Cup. And it's funny enough because
you know, I've always been a Moonee Valley and a Flemington fan. And, you know, I hadn't been to the Caulfield Cup for a good, 15 years or something. And of course, Hawksey hadn't. And, John typically, as you know, stays home to watch the races.
Yeah.
And I rang John and I said, hey, we're going to the race. He said, no, I'm not. And I said, well, I'm going to be picking you up. And I did pick him up. And we both went out there. And it's funny, like winning the Caulfield Cup. I mean, we all had a big buzz about winning the Melbourne Cup. And we tried him at the Melbourne Cup twice. But he was really a true 2,400 metre horse.
He never won it, Tony. Sorry, he never won a race after that. He never won another race. He placed in a BMW and a Ranvet, Group 1, but never won another race.
No, he ran second in the BMW twice.
Twice, that's right, yeah. And then Roger James eventually took him back to New Zealand, and that's where he did.
Well, what we did was basically, Gerard and Owen being Kiwis, and we basically very amicable. We did a deal. The second time Railings ran in the Caulfield Cup, I didn't actually own a share of him.
Yes.
They took Railings and I kept Head Turner.
He won the AJC Derby.
Because I thought Head Turner, in my opinion, probably has been the best horse that I own, but it just went a miss on us.
Yeah. Tony, great catching up. Young Tony Jr., I'm sure you've seen and heard this all before and you're probably bored with it by now, but it's always good to look back and see that horse winning the Caulfield Cup. Tony Pistikakis, Tony Jr., best of luck in racing in the future. I know you don't have many horses nowadays, Tone, but you're still...
Yes, we have. We do have quite a few. And funny enough, we've got two at the moment named after Tony. One's called Tony's Kick and the other one's called Adonis Kick.
Okay.
They're with Peter Gallagher's.
Is that right? So since you're going so well, give us a winner. Come on.
Well, I think I've got a really good horse in Tony's Kick, and I've got a really nice filly I just brought down from Queensland.
Okay.
I raced with my nephew Jason Sarasis.
Yes.
It's called Sunday Sassy.
Good on you, Tony. Help your grandfather out there, buddy. Hey.
Thank you, Phil.
Been great talking to you.
Thank
Tony
you,
Pistikakis joining us there with his grandson, young Tony, as well. Caulfield Cup coming up on Saturday, one of the great 2,400 metre races of the turf, and racing.com will be there to cover it all for you.